All right, now we're ready.
Thank you. Downtown Committee meeting for Tuesday, December 3rd, 2024 is in order at 8:03. Yeah. Item number 2, roll call, please.
Yeah, Committee Member Baird,
Present.
Committee Member Katz is absent, Committee Member Keith,
Present.
Yen,
Here for my last meeting.
Kavanaugh is absent, Lynn is absent, Singh. Not here, Vice Chair Kasperzak
Here.
and Chair Shake.
Here. Thank you. Item number 3, the approved minutes. The minutes for the October 1st, 2024 meeting have been delivered to committee members and copies posted on the City Hall bulletin board. If there are no corrections or additions, a motion is in order to approve these minutes.
There was one correction submitted by Chair Shake. There was just a mislabeling in the section 8. That's been corrected.
Thank you. So any other?
I'll move it. I'll move
The
adoption.
printed is not correct. No,
Printed is not.
Not correct.
so we'd approve with
So
that
move.
edit.
Yep, a move to approve with
So I mean,
the,
if there is no correction, but I mean, any public comments?
Oh, right. No one's online.
On
Well,
Zoom?
there are people online, but.
Right,
Second.
thank you. The motion made by Mike Kasperzak and second by Mary Ann. All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed, no abstain. Motion passed unanimously. Great, thank you. Item 4, upcoming agenda topics. This portion of agenda is reserved for identification of agenda items for future meetings. Items currently on future agenda items list are vacant storefronts, parking plan update, art murals in downtown, precise plan update, and school performances in the downtown. Any input? Any?
Other items on there is bringing the police department to give us a presentation on their new transparency dashboard and some of the data that's now publicly available. So we're looking to bring that in the new year. And then we are finalizing a report with the retail coach to come and do a presentation here. So that didn't make it to this meeting, so we're hoping in February.
and sort of as we were talking before the meeting started, maybe in conjunction with the retail coach or something, we could also, get a briefing really on sort of the downtown retail strategy. It's sort of as we were talking, preferences for types, pros and cons, what's so difficult about getting a, like a small clothing retailer, sort of what are the pros and cons and difficulties and.
And also, similar to that, piggyback, Palo Alto is also having challenges with their downtown. I've been reading a few articles in the local newspaper. I haven't done any research, but I know they're looking at allowing different uses for downtown. And I don't know how much work that would be for staff to evaluate maybe what some of the other cities are doing in terms of changing their zoning or their allowed uses. Los Altos is also struggling a little bit, not as much as Palo Alto is, according to the newspaper. And then also, John was saying something about Sunnyvale. My center of gravity is more this way. I really don't get to Sunnyvale, so I'm kind of curious, what stores or businesses are they encouraging?
Yeah. I mean, just on the same line, same thought, what Pamela was saying, is it possible, like we did in mediation, we invited some mediators from Palo Alto, and we invite somebody from those cities, the counterpart to our meetings, to get ideas?
On other mediators?
No, not mediator, but I mean, I was giving you an example, but
Oh, I see.
anybody in the downtown, any counterpart,
I
our
see.
counterpart.
We can certainly look into that.
That'd be great. We can ask questions. You know.
Mhm.
Great. Any,
And then also, there's also discussion earlier about having another joint meeting with, visual arts and or the performing arts.
yeah. Great. So any input from the public?
No one's online.
Hmm.
Well, that-
Okay, see now. Thank you. Move to item 5, all communications from the public. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons wishing to address the committee on any matter not on the agenda. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. State law prohibits the committee from acting on non-agenda items. Any public input?
Anyone online, please raise your hand if you'd like to make public comment.
No. Seeing none, we move on to item 6, unfinished business, 6.1. Downtown development update. Planning division staff will provide an update on downtown development projects. Thank you, Vincent. Morning.
Everyone,
Morning.
nice to see you all here. So Vincent Quantisek, your planner. There aren't too many updates for this month. The only one I can bring your attention to is item number 9 for 590 Castro Street. That was recently the permit and map extension was approved by the Administrative Zoning and Subdivisions Committee on November 13th. So that just extends their project entitlement for another 2 years from the original project approval date. They are still currently under review for their building permits. But so that project is approved, but just currently under review for building permits at this point.
Have they given any idea? Sort of when they might do something? I know financing and everything is a real issue these days, so.
I guess like, is your question like?
Do they have a proposed start date?
Well, so they're still under review for their building permits,
Okay.
so that until they kind of get that approved, they wouldn't really begin any kind of construction activity.
I mean, of course, that could be, are they slow pacing that? Or it seems like a really long time to work on your building permits.
Yeah, so from what I recollect is that they got approved in 2022.
Right.
And throughout that process, they have been working to obtain their building permits.
Okay.
And they have submitted multiple rounds of review at this point. It's just, there's revisions and coordination that still needs to be
Okay.
done correctly on.
Question on item number 18, the downtown precise plan update. Second paragraph says, public outreach and in preparation of existing conditions report will begin on Q3 2024. Do we have an update on that?
Yeah, I don't have anything to provide you right now. I can definitely follow up with the project planner on that.
Yeah, it'd be great, because this is written like in future tense, and we're
Yes.
actually in past tense, so.
Yeah,
that sentence needs to either be updated or say that it's been delayed or something
course,
to
of
that
course.
effect. Then one other question on, I should have marked it. The old building, the old Jennings Lock building, the old Ames
Oh, yeah.
building, that's supposed to be a restaurant. That has been in development for a long time, almost, I think, as long as I've been on the committee, which is 4 years. So, what's the story there? Sorry, I don't have the exact.
Yeah, I think you're talking about item number 12.
The first block, yes. That's the one.
Yeah.
So that one is still the vehicle building permit. So, but let me follow up with the project planner to see if they have anything
That
additional.
seems like that's just as either stalled, I do the walking tours and every month, somebody will ask me about that. What's going on with that?
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
So that would be curious to find out about that if you could, please, for our
Okay.
next meeting.
yes.
Appreciate it.
Back to number 9, and this is not a question for planning per se, but for the wider sort of planning division. I'm just wondering, this is for a 4-story, 106,000 square foot office space. Given that downtown office spaces haven't fully recovered from the pandemic, I don't even think our current office spaces are fully occupied as it is. I mean, do we have any sort of assessment in terms of how much more office space is needed / is going to be leased, right? Because if we already have current vacancies, then why are we building more office space, right? Shouldn't we be spending that resource?
It's a developer's choice.
I understand, but at the same time, like, why are we building more office space if there's vacant office spaces? Like, does the planning take that into consideration as well as not just approving permits because developers requested it, right?
So if I could jump in, I mean, council decided not to put a cap on office development, if I remember correctly. So it is at the will of the market. Yeah.
And you know what? If you build it, they might come.
Just right now, it's not even full, right? Like,
Wait,
we haven't recovered.
are you going into leasing at Google?
Absolutely not.
I'm kidding.
I mean, the Google office spaces are still half empty, right? As somebody who. So
Well, but the conditions were entirely different.
disappointing.
Right.
That we are building.
This was started
additional-
before COVID.
I understand,
So,
but given that they're still in the process, like, should we reconsider, given that market has shifted? Anyway, this is not a criticism of you or the department, just voicing my disappointment that we could be spending our efforts elsewhere. That's all.
I'm curious though.
Barry,
how
if you have
easy
about
is it for
$300 million,
these
you could buy it and start
Which the
over.
use in more like
And build some housing.
residential, if those offices don't get let out.
Exactly.
So are you speaking specifically to this project or?
Just in general, let's say in downtown, is there like
You're saying like office to residential conversions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's, let's say across from, Castro Street, there's that, what is that? Where Alexander's and Pokey Works, and it's been sold, I don't know how many times in such a short amount of time. And let's say with those offices up on top, would they be able to be converted into residential? Given they're completely empty, I mean, not completely empty, but they've been struggling to fill those offices for a while.
Yeah, I mean, for that, that's a much broader discussion.
Has the city ever thought about that? That's what I'm.
Probably,
I mean,
probably not.
I could
mean,
jump
they're
in and
such-
say that-
Such old buildings.
Yeah, other cities have looked at it. I mean, it's actually a lot more expensive than you would think,
Yeah, it's very
especially given the age of the buildings. Actually, the city of Toronto, was it Toronto? There was a Canadian city that actually was incentivizing demos of old office buildings. So oftentimes you have to kind of start
Yeah.
over. And so, yeah, it's a lot more expensive than
They
you
even
think.
talked about it up in the city and like like commercial buildings aren't like zoned or permitted for residential, so
Yes,
you
yes,
have to
yes.
totally change the permitting process. So it's easier to tear down a 50-story
Exactly.
building and build a new one than convert it.
Yeah.
So it would be a major policy decision that would have to be made at the council level, because there would be quite a bit of, planning policy that would need to be in there. John, do you have anything you'd like to add?
I just wanted to chime in on 171, 175 Castro Street, just looking at the building permit. The permit was submitted for completeness. That's the first review that happens in the building process. It's a two-step process. This was done in June, May, June of this year. The applicant received comments from the city. The applicant has not resubmitted for the outstanding comments. So they have not even passed completeness review. So the ball, if you will, is in their court to respond to the comments. They need to get to completeness
Yeah.
before we can actually look at the project and review it for code purposes. So they have had feedback from the city since June. And they have not resubmitted their responses to the comments. So that the project is in their court,
Yeah.
not in, the city is not holding this project up. They need to respond to comments.
Are there any incentives or disincentives that, I don't remember from my being on the planning commission to encourage or penalize somebody for not doing something on their permit other than?
Yes, expiration of their entitlement.
But then you still
Familiar
have,
with that?
but then you still haven't done anything, so.
Keep in mind, there's a cost to them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So the way they're penalized by not being active on their permit is they've spent money and
Right.
have nothing to show for it.
And it's
Right.
getting
Don't have
more
to spend
expensive.
money again. Traditionally with building costs, unless we're talking 2007, 8, 9, costs continuously go up. So the longer it takes, the more added cost is going to occur. So there's a natural penalty
Sure.
built in for not moving quickly or
But
responsible.
there's also a cost to the general community by
Mhm.
having an empty building.
Correct.
Being an eyesore.
That's not accounted for.
Not our job.
I know.
Not accounted for, right?
Well,
Cost of community.
and
is
again,
never-
if you'd remember during the economic vitality strategy, any sort of exploration of a vacancy tax was significantly deprioritized. So,
Mhm.
you know, that's another tool that council decided to put in the long-term pile. Yeah. I will say though, you know, we're looking at ways to activate, I mean, certainly not buildings that have tenants that are working through permits, but some of the vacant storefronts.
Thank you.
So I'm glad we're talking about item 12 a lot, you know, because last night I just wanted to plug my neighborhood, Old Mountain View. That how active they are. Last night we had a meeting for Old Mountain View Neighborhood Association. And this question was brought up. This is, hey, what's happening with that thing? I pass by all the time. So now I have some answers for that too. Thank you, everybody.
Can't wait for my term to end so people stop asking. No.
They never stop asking.
I know, I'm just kidding. I love this. Sorry, again, not towards you.
Yeah, of course. Were there any other questions?
Any more questions?
Everyone, please write your newly elected council members.
Thank you.
All right. Thank
And
you.
I don't see
Thank
any
you.
Thank
questions.
you very much, Wilson.
No questions online.
No questions online? That's cool. Thank you.
The newly old elected, right?
Council members.
Great, moving on to item number 6.2. Castro Street update.
Yay.
Staff will provide a verbal update on the current efforts and activities related to Castro Street.
Okay, a couple of things that have happened since we last met. This was a big one of high interest to the community. We removed the bus shelter in front of Alexander's Patissier / Red Rock. You can see sort of the before and after photos there. So as we have closed Castro Street to vehicular traffic, we no longer have need for bus shelters because there's no longer a bus running through Castro. So we have 3 bus shelters that are located on Castro Street. There is one actually directly across in front of Agave. The second one was here on the 200 block, and then the last one is on the 300 block in front of Limon. The other 2 in front of on the 300 and 100 block have been designated to be replaced by key directories with our wayfinding project. But this one, given its proximity to the other one, we decided to move that out and replace it, as you can see, with bike parking. Real high need for bike parking there, so it's adding a lot, and the business owners are thrilled.
Yay.
Just one comment. This morning I walked on the airline, turned there, and when you first look at it, you notice something's missing. It's brighter, you know.
It's a lot
the
more
airline.
open,
Yeah,
yeah.
what happened is,
Question though, if you look at the photo on the left, there's 2 people sitting in the little bench area. Are there plans to replace some seating there? Cause I used to get something to drink or something at the bakery and then sit there and eat under the shade. So are there plans for a bench
There are not, but the city has added so much seating downtown. If you look, you know, if you were to be able to just pan slightly to the left, There are 2 picnic tables with umbrellas. If you were to pan slightly to the right, there's seating walls. We've added all the social zones. So there's a ton of seating in the downtown, and we're adding shaded seating. So while we will have lost this seating, there's lots of other options. So for people, but it's a great question. I mean, it's a reason that we made the decision to not include seat walls in the outdoor patio footprints. And it's exactly for that reason, because we want to have, free,
Yeah,
you don't have to pay
flexibility.
for seating that you can easily access. Yeah, so it's a great question. I will say, yeah, no, I'll leave it there. But this was a huge, this was something we were able to do in response to a lot of community feedback. So kind of huge. And like I said, you can see it's directly in front of the entrance to
Mhm.
Alexander's Patisserie. So that's a huge bonus for them.
Yeah,
I think it's a good idea too, to add the bike, racks on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
bike
was needed,
racks are-
very important.
a good trade-off.
All right, our wayfinding project, and I believe Aruna from our Public Works team is here for additional questions. But as you know, we've been embarking on a pedestrian level wayfinding project. The city brought on a design consultant to help us come up with what this would look like. And so we have mapped out, kind of the large scale points of interest that we would point to. So there's going to be 3 different sign types. There would be the large directional signs, the small map signs, so you can see those 2 here. And then the larger kiosks, which would actually be like a mall directory of sorts, which would point to individual businesses. The larger signs would point to larger public points of interest, like City Hall, like the, post office, police station, some of those larger wayfinding items. And would be located along Castro Street, all the way from El Camino to Evelyn, and would go along Castro and then 1 block out. So we're looking at about 40 sign locations across the downtown. And we're really excited to bring to you today an update about the design of the sign. So we looked at a couple of different options, and the one that we ultimately settled on was the products and history of Mountain View. And we did a little research and spoke with Pamela and members of the Historical Association, and have, I'll just stand. These are 2 examples. So, in this one here, these are apricots. So kind of hearkening to our agricultural roots. And then we have sort of a tech board here. So obviously some more modern day. But there are other sign designs that reflect sort of nature and some of the animals that live in Mountain View. And then we have a sign that will sort of be reflective of some of our aerospace engineering history. So we're looking at 5 different sign types that will be, kind of in multiple places in the downtown. And one of the things that's really exciting about this is, not only are these signs will be really unique to Mountain View, these are kind of non-traditional wayfinding signs. But on the little maps that will be just below them, you'll get a little bit of history. So you can see this one has, the apricots, and then here you get a little blurb where you can learn about the history and about the history of apricots in the city of Mountain View. And that'll be true of each individual sign. And so, it's there if people are interested, to have a little bit of intrigue. Otherwise, these are just really beautiful signs that will be really, it'll really bring a sense of unique place, because I'm sure if you've traveled to other communities, you've seen what their wayfinding look like. Or anything
I
to add?
just want to emphasize again, this is pedestrian level wayfinding signage. We are not focused on the vehicular signage. That in itself is a different project and a larger project. But this one is focusing on pedestrian level wayfinding. 2 civic facilities, again, like Amanda mentioned, private places of interest, like 2 of the businesses would be included on the directories that are proposed to be located at the existing bus shelter locations on the 100 and the 300 blocks. Those are kind of quasi mall entry points, especially at the 300. It's the true entry point if you're coming up from the north side. So again, the 5 different designs, we don't have the others here because we are still working on refining the design. So the 5 different designs are included. So they would kind of repeat across each block, and then all these are, I just want to mention that all these are most of these are double-sided signs, so whether you're coming from north or south, there is wayfinding and the signs are all double-sided, except the signs that are on the end blocks, both ends. Like one coming at El Camino would be one, or depending, that's not been decided yet, depending on how they are positioned and placed. There are some one-way signs, but most of the signs are double-sided. So. it's-
Beautiful signage, great job. My question about is about directory. I was wondering if it's a permanent directory or if it's like a digital, because as the businesses shift, can we like update them?
Yeah, the goal is to have a digital
Thank you.
directory, yeah. Which we're trying to make it low maintenance. 'Cause that'll
Exactly,
Likely be on
exactly.
me to update, but yes, we want to make sure that it's
Exactly.
valuable,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we are, again, Amanda and I are working with our consultant to investigate different options for the digital directories. There's like ton of options, but we are kind of realizing there is like a lot of changes coming over the years. So these directories are evolving. So again, outdoor versus indoor is a big ask also,
Yes.
how it can take the beating of the weather impacts and just human elements too, so.
Exactly. Thank you.
Mike,
A couple questions. Are these only on Castro or are they on any of the side streets?
So we'll go one block out.
One block out,
Yeah, and
okay.
those will be the single directional as you're coming into downtown.
Right, and then second question, especially like with the like aerospace sort of theme, is that gonna incorporate anything about sort of the military history? Of the Navy, the Air National
Yeah,
Guard?
I can't remember what's on that little blurb, but you can see, it's just a couple of lines. So it'll, there was talks of maybe having the hangar, but it just gives like a little bit of intrigue, and hopefully encourages people to ask for more information, but I can't remember exactly what's on that one.
So I had one other question. It's sort of about interactivity of stuff downtown. I was in Kansas City, I think 2 years ago for NLC, and they have like a solar system, from the sun to Pluto to scale, in this as you walk down. So, here's the sun, next block is, Mercury, 2 blocks later is Venus, and 3 miles away is Pluto,
Right.
sort of stuff. And they have all these things and, stuff about that. Have we ever looked at anything that is sort of like interactive, but, static,
Yeah.
things like that?
The city's looking at a lot of different ways to activate the downtown.
That would incorporate, like if it was longer, incorporate the Moffett Boulevard extension all the way to, so could be especially like a solar system one would be kind of cool, but.
Yeah, we're looking at a lot of different ways to do activations, but I'll say, all of them come with a price tag,
Right.
and that's definitely the limiting factor. But we have as we had a presentation on a couple months ago now, all the events that are happening in the downtown. The chamber's doing a lot of different activation. But certainly something like a long-term installation that would be interactive. We've actually recently did some research about sort of traveling art pieces that are interactive, but they're very expensive. We're talking like 30, 40, 50K, depending on the size of them, and a pretty big lift for staff in terms of, installing and security. So yeah, they come with a big price tag, and yeah, but I will say, there's a lot happening in the downtown and we're looking for more passive ways to do activation. One of the things I think that there's interest in looking at is, allowing for more public events happening in the downtown. At the moment, we have to go to council every time there's, a street closure on Castro Street. So if there's other ways for us to look at that process and make it easier for anyone to come in and do activation. So yeah, point definitely taken. Yeah.
These are wonderful. They're fabulous. I'm really excited to see this, and kudos to staff and to the consultant for imagining something different. I was just up in Sonoma for Thanksgiving weekend, and they have some wayfinding signs, which I was going to photograph and I forgot, but this is miles ahead of what everybody else has been doing, where you have sort of a static little post and some store names on it. So this is really exciting, and I like the branding and the consistency of having it go from El Camino all the way to the train station. This is kudos to you. And I like the historical aspects, not just because I'm on the History Association, but people have no idea that there's this rich history behind us of agriculture and aerospace and the military over at Moffett. So this would be a good way to give people a little teaser about, this isn't just something that that came in the 50s. We have a 100-year history way before that. So kudos to staff. And when does this, do we see these next week?
Do you want to field the timeline?
Sure.
question?
We, again, like I said, we are working on, we don't have all the 5 design types here because we are working on refining the designs. And also to get a head start, we are actually going to be bringing in a sign vendor who would be producing these signs. So build, make design a feasibly implementable sign. So we are working simultaneously. So our hope, to answer your question, long story short, is to have them ready for installation around next summer timeframe. That's our goal. Yeah.
So
And I just
invite us to the party when you please, so we can take credit for it.
Then purposefully get lost so we can.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we'll make everyone give us their phones and then you have to
Turn.
find your way. But I will say, actually, Chair.
You want to
Kate-
say that, yeah?
Yeah, ran into us as we were doing some testing with them out in the park. So one of the things that's really cool about these is the white is actually cut through. So it's not, they won't actually be the color white, but you'll see some of the background behind it. So kind of an extra little fun aspect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and to add one more, to add to Amanda's point about the price tag, we are going to repurpose or use the existing electric poles that we have on the street. So so far we haven't identified any new pole location needs. So we are kind of repurposing, or, if they have flower baskets, they'll be on one side or one would be taken off if there is a flag. So there's going to be some adjustments made. But I think this is really important to have a sign there. So that's the reason why some adjustment will be made.
The only concern I have is the dark blue color, is making sure that there's enough contrast and that the size of the print is large enough that you would be able to see it. We're focused on it right now, and so it looks like you can see things. So that would be my only.
Yeah,
And
so our consultant is aware of both the daytime and nighttime vision needs. And these are going to be designed per ADA, so the contrast will be there.
Yeah, and there's I think it's MUTCD standards around like how big font needs to be depending on, like distance that it should be readable by, and there are contrast standards that have to be followed. Yeah, so great point.
No, you answer all my questions. I was wondering about what happened at night and also ADA issues, if somebody is visually challenged now, they see it, all that. Good.
Yeah.
That's
So
good.
that's being considered, yes.
And they're on light poles, so there should be some additional lights. Before we proceed, there was a question about the downtown precise plan engagement. Do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, that's why I came. Morning,
Okay.
everybody. Good to see you all. Diana Pancholi, Principal Planner with the Planning Division. I heard there was a question on the engagement and existing conditions report for the precise plan update. Precise plan is moving forward. It's moving slow. It is moving slow because we have a lot of long-range priorities right now. We had a very busy council season. We're still trying to finish it up on December 17th because of some builders remedy projects, some housing element items as well. So at this time, the current schedule that we have will be starting with community engagement sometime around end of February. And that will include some community meetings, but also pop-ups. We'll try to be at, if there are any events going on in downtown, then we'll try to be in there as well. With our little booth, come join, give us your opinion kind of a thing. We are collecting information right now to give to our consultants so that they can start preparing the existing conditions report. But Moffett is the one which is moving ahead because of the housing element deadline tied to Moffett precise plan. And that's why downtown keeps getting a little behind. So,
Great.
yeah, and if any point of time, if you have any questions on that, feel free to email me directly. I'm happy to talk to and provide you any information on this. Okay, well, thank you.
One comment,
you.
that what Aruna brought, Amanda, is that they're adjusting the flower baskets and all that. There is a flower basket on top of the ping pong table. It stops it a little at night. It's hard to play, so people have complained. So can you have a look at it?
Ping pong table is so popular.
Yeah, it is.
I would suggest to put another one.
I know.
I'm just
Things
saying.
are just the same to ours.
I know.
I'm kind of impressed that all the things are still there.
These, oh, yeah.
So
the-
then, yeah,
I literally bought my own ping pong.
Yeah,
racket just in case I don't find any there,
you notice the cold weather is affecting people playing ping pong and the other games, yeah.
So the other games have been taken off. I don't know if it's on your slide, but like the cornhole and the mini golf,
Yeah.
because they can sustain the rain.
Rain, yeah.
That's been taken
Yeah.
off.
They'll be back in the
It will
spring.
come back though.
Yeah. And just an update on the decorative street treatment project. So, as you know, this project has been moving through the design phase. Ultimately, we, ended up with this ribbons concept, which has, various city complementary colors kind of waving its way through the downtown. This project has been pushed back until we have some warmer weather conditions in the early spring. Our hope was to make it happen this fall, but with contractor schedules, things are getting a little too close to cold, rainy season. And as we learned last year during our street repaving project, cold, wet weather makes for really challenging installation of this kind of product. So we're going to wait till things warm up a little bit and we can have a quicker, less impactful installation on the businesses. Yeah.
Can you speak on the seasonal decorations that that people are noticing, like the candy
canes.
canes, and I thought that was very cute.
Yeah, so our community services department, I don't know if you saw that throughout the last couple of months, they've been sort of like testing out different elements, different ways to make it really festive. But yes, the candy canes have gone up. There's going to be more decorations happening on the business side, with the Great Elf Hunt. But yes, those all took place, I think, last week or the week before. And yeah, I think the candy canes look really fun and festive. Yeah.
May I just
Yeah, please.
suggestion?
Yeah.
So I think that a tree would be phenomenal in the roundabout of, is it California? I think it's California Street. Because it's such visually, like you could see it, you would be able to see it on all Castro.
There used to be a tree there and the
There
contractors
was-
cut it down by accident 30 years ago.
That would be so beautiful, to have actually, and to add to that festive vibe, I would say.
Yeah.
Not just like here, but like, because this one is a beautiful tree, don't get me wrong.
Big
But
ass
something
tree,
like
too.
that on California, on that roundabout in the middle of the street would be phenomenal. So if it's in the budget.
If I may kind of respond to that, we just are about to kick off the intersection improvements project, which includes the California roundabout. And as they are designing, it's one of the elements that they would consider, how the treatment can be modified or kept, what can be done to the roundabout area. And it was one of the options that came early on when we took this to CTC and other committees. But yeah, comment duly noted.
Thank you.
So I have a question. I noticed the Christmas tree is lit. So how can we have a Christmas tree light program when the tree is already lit?
Well, maybe they were testing. It's
This
working.
morning I went by.
Yeah,
the
I
tree
took a
was-
picture, yeah.
was
well,
lit,
yeah,
so-
Yeah, all the gifts are lit.
It's a great question, although the event I know includes more than just lighting the tree,
There's also
so.
I know, that I'm just being silly.
But it's a great question.
Yeah.
I have one question about that roundabout, Aruna. One of the business person always asked me, they wanted to have a fountain in the middle. I don't know if possible or is.
Again, we are gonna do a public engagement process as the
Yeah.
project goes through the concept design process, so. All comments are welcome.
Yeah, just dawned on me.
But you also would have some vision concerns too about going around a roundabout.
Yeah,
You don't
exactly.
want
It
Make a
has to be
left turn.
it has to accommodate, especially VTA buses going around and,
Fire
trucks,
engines.
emergency, so.
How
Once
about a
all
palm
that,
tree, that big trunk and then.
Anyways,
Right along.
Sorry, we're interrupting you.
Oh, it's good. So decorative tree treatment, community tree lighting
Yay.
is coming up. And
Segue.
yes, yeah, perfect. So actually next Monday, so that's coming up very quickly. And as you know, there's all sorts of activities and free events for community members and families. So that should be a really good time. And the German Holiday Market is also coming back. So that's in a couple Saturdays here. Again, makes for a really fun event. There's going to be, food and, crafts and all sorts of stuff for that. So another holiday event, which will be bringing activation to the downtown. Great elf hunt.
we should get the Hallmark Channel to come
I
here to
know,
do something
truly,
about our holiday
truly.
market.
There you go. Some sort of meet cute at the
That's
holiday
right.
market. Yeah. And so we've got the Great Elf Hunt, which is put on by the Downtown Business Association. There's a kickoff event happening on the 21st. And as you know, inviting community members to find the elf in various businesses and to dress up. Oops. Oh boy. Our December Downtown Digest is out. I have a couple of printed copies available. It's also available online. We did a deep dive into police presence, police programs in the downtown, which was something we've been hearing a lot of questions around. So learning a little bit more about all the different initiatives that are happening in the downtown. We did a little bit of a blurb about busking in the downtown, which we had a presentation at our last meeting, kind of explaining to people about what to do if there's amplified music that is impacting your ability to enjoy the downtown. So that is continuing we're seeing a lot of engagement and readership for
You in
that.
the picture?
That's the back of my head, yeah.
Is it not a staged photo?
Yeah, we actually got some really cute pictures of this officer handing out stickers to little kids that walked up to him. They were so excited and he was able to hand out some stickers, which was really cute.
In terms of the downtown cafes, now that we're moving into winter months, I mean, obviously, many of them will have heaters, but there's no winter tenting or anything that we're allowing, so it's.
Tents are not allowed, and there's also rules around the proximity of heaters to umbrellas. So
Right.
that's another thing that businesses have to be really cognizant of, because that's a fire hazard. So yeah, luckily we're not going to be hopefully rained out for too long, but yeah, there's no tenting allowed. No tenting. Tell everyone no tenting.
Are the businesses sort of, I don't know if educated is the right word, or informed of like these sort of types of possible violations?
Yeah, I mean, we're in regular communications and we're providing verbal updates. We've talked with this committee about doing some enforcement that would have some fines associated with that. So that's still in development, but at the moment, we're still as staff out there almost every day providing sort of verbal feedback.
But space heaters are allowed.
Certain space heaters are allowed. We have in the actual standards for the program standards, there are specific heaters that are permitted. And really the key things is that they have anti-tipping mechanisms, that they, aren't getting super hot so that people are getting burned. So there's some approved ones in there. Yeah.
So the Old Mountain View neighborhood, liking the digest, I brought them a meeting and they wanted me.
Thank you for getting that to them.
Exactly, but they wanted to thank the staff for preparing such a nice document, they were really setting the meeting again.
That's really
Also,
helpful to hear. It's a lot of work to put it out there, so we're glad that people are enjoying
very
it.
nice, and
That's great.
I've been stealing it from down there, I took some more out from down.
Oh,
so
good.
You might have to
Yeah,
add,
please,
add
grab
some
as
more
many
in
as
there.
you need. And interestingly, as I walk downtown, I think it's maybe just having the city badge. People are always asking questions, and I really should just start carrying the Downtown Digest with me, because inevitably I got into this really lovely conversation with a visitor to downtown about downtown vacancies, and I was able to send him the Downtown Digest from last edition. So there's lots of helpful information in there, and I actually have started putting copies at Red Rock. So I'm hoping to kind of just start getting more physical copies available.
You could do a little QR code.
Yeah, and I have actually in Red Rock, there's a little folded tent thing with a QR code,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
people want to read
Because
the
everybody
electronic
has phones.
versions. Yeah, excellent point. Okay, and then our last one is, as you know, there's a rotating art exhibit that happens in the Center for the Performing Arts. And we're currently in the process of accepting or inviting artists to apply to exhibit their work for the next season. And so just sort of letting people know that is available. It's kind of a really cool way to kind of get your art showcased, and it's in our downtown. So, John, any comments about that? They do that through.
Arts.
So the call for artists, AC will select up to 8 artists to exhibit. So they run about 7 weeks in the CPA. There's a small stipend that the artists receive, but it is a great chance for emerging or established artists to have their artwork viewed. And the CPA this last year started to actually open up the lobby for non-performance days, starting on Wednesday, going through Saturday. So it's a great opportunity to have basically your own exhibit, if you will, that the public can come and enjoy. So very happy with the program, and this is our annual process for selecting those artists.
Is art limited to 2-dimensional art?
It can be 3-dimensional. It's a great question. The way it works is there are walls within the CPA. So it does need to hang, but it can be 3-dimensional. And we have had art pieces that do give you that depth. So there are a range of medium that will work on the walls, but it does need to hang.
So Amanda, there you go.
Oh, yeah, okay. And just the last thing I wanted to share is we have another episode of the On the Town promotional video that we do for things happening in the downtown, and that kind of complements the Downtown Digest. So I won't play the whole thing.
Downtown Mountain View remains. Safety in downtown Mountain View remains a top priority, and the Mountain View Police Department has implemented several focused initiatives to increase visibility and support in the area. This includes enhanced downtown patrols, the Downtown Ambassador Program, and parking enforcement assistance.
So the department recognizes that the downtown area is an important first impression that the city can make, and we want to turn first customers into returning customers, as well as highlight the vibrance of the city. So officers assigned to the downtown detail, given the opportunity to provide more prompt response times and address the quality of life issues. So it's not an entirely new concept. We're just trying to leverage that age-old sense of the beat cop, where business owners or people that frequent the downtown area become familiar with officers on the street corner. So we're really trying to emphasize meeting new business owners, getting more familiar with them on a first-name basis, so that maybe they're more inclined to call, or they can expect the quality of service that we are inclined to provide.
Downtown Mountain View is not only a great place to shop, dine, and enjoy a variety of entertainment, it is also filled with historical buildings that reveal over 150 years of Mountain View's evolution. Every month, the Mountain View Historical Association hosts a downtown walking tour where participants can explore the historic sites and buildings on and around Castro Street.
The Mountain View Historical Association was started in 1954. So this year we are celebrating 70 years of being a nonprofit. We're all volunteer organization. And our mission is to chronicle history, educate people about history, and also talk about the things that are currently happening, because we have history happening now. The walking tour is conducted on the fourth Sunday of most months, and we walk from the train station all the way up to former site of the high school, and we talk about history, we talk about people, we talk about events, and it's a great afternoon. So the tour takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on how much I talk and how much other people want to have answered questions.
And it is $10 for members and $15 for non-members.
For more information on upcoming walking tours, visit their website, mountainviewhistorical.org.
Oh, you had a big group.
I
Right.
know. Congrats, Pam.
You gotta sign my agenda this time.
Yeah, it's a little glitchy, trying to stream, but yeah, we got some great content, so we'll continue to do those.
This is on the website?
This is
Yeah.
on the website, it's on our YouTube channel, and we've been sharing it out via social media as well.
Yeah, so
Seen it
that
on
was
Instagram.
sent out last week or the week before last.
Yes, yes. Yeah. All right, so that's all the updates. I have.
One last thing, I already have seen the Mountain View High students singing caroling in
Oh.
Castro. I heard, made a video, it was fantastic. And other thing I want to plug, I saw that the cleaning crew is cleaning it up with the leaves and all that, and they're doing it before the businesses really open up and all this, this is very nice.
Yeah, it's a daily task.
Yeah. Earlier, I saw, a long time ago, I saw John used to do it. I mean, I saw he pick up all the thing, you know. All right, great, thank you.
Great job.
Oh, wait a minute, before, any input from the public, any questions coming? Anybody?
My input is great job finding a hot cup. For that meeting.
They selected their own representative.
I
so.
mean, can't go wrong.
No comment.
Nobody, no? Great.
My term is expiring.
Any comment? Okay, thank you. That was
I can
great.
say whatever I want. Exactly.
Move to item number 7, new business. 2025 Downtown Committee calendar meeting calendar. As required by the City Council Policy K2, the committee will discuss and adopt a schedule of the meeting for the 2025 calendar year. I think it's in the 24, 25.
Mhm. Yeah, thank you.
25 calendar year.
So just as is detailed in your staff memo, I'm proposing that we take a similar schedule to what we did this past year with no meetings proposed in January, July, and August. January, as you know, it would be right in the middle of most of our holidays, and then July and August kind of mirroring the council recess that takes place. Otherwise, we would meet consistently on the first Tuesday of the month.
Right. We don't have to take any motion.
I believe we do need to take,
I'll move that we adopt the
So
calendar.
before that, I mean, any public want to say anything about it?
no members of the public are online.
Sorry, go ahead. Thank you, Mike. You Make the motion.
Mike said he moves.
Mike moves.
Second, but we need to wait for Mary to come back.
Yeah.
To have a quorum, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. But yes, so reminder that we will not be meeting next month, but we'll see everyone back in February.
And when, do you have well, never mind, I'll wait till.
Do we get to announcements?
Well, no, my question was about, the swearing in of new member would be on February 4th.
Yes, that would be correct. Yes, February 4th. Are you doing the Great Elf Hunt this year?
We are not, because at night, there's no kids.
Right, yeah.
I tried somehow to incorporate it. I'm like, this is, I just put it between, what am I gonna put between bottles of alcohol?
Yeah. Maybe we could hide sort of in one of the windows and people
I
can find it on the
guess.
outside.
Maybe you could put a QR code on the front of your window and say, here's the elf.
Yeah.
And somebody has to find where the elf
Maybe I
is.
could just have an elf like peeking through the window.
Right, with the
Oh, that'd be
QR
cute.
code.
Yeah.
So technically speaking, once you have a quorum, the quorum stands unless there is a quorum call.
Oh,
And we could vote because we have a quorum for the meeting. And if Mary's not here, it would be whatever it is and one abstention.
Okay,
thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Parliamentarian.
yeah,
All
all right.
So we can go ahead.
We're
right,
professional
proceed.
here.
So the motion made by Mike Kasperzak, and a motion to adopt a schedule for meeting for the 2025 calendar year. Was made by Mike Kasperzak and seconded by Sam Lambert. Any, all in favor? Aye. Nobody opposed, no abstain, motion passed
Well,
unanimously.
there is
One
one Mary,
abstention.
Mary didn't vote, one
Oh, yeah.
non-voting.
Sorry,
She's
thank
not,
you.
she's not
Yes.
on next year, so it really doesn't
Thanks,
matter.
Pass. Okay. With one abstain, yes. Great. The item number 8. Committee staff comments, questions, committee reports. No action will be taken on any questions raised by the committee at this
You missed your
time.
last vote.
Oh. I'm sorry. Can we vote again? No.
No, all good. Well, I'll get started. So we had to cancel the downtown walking tour at the end of November because we only had one person sign up. Oh, which was disappointing, but we already have 5 people signed up for the next one, which is December 22nd. So we will be doing that one. We have a minimum of 4 people to participate.
So was it because of the cold weather, maybe?
Who knows?
Depression from
Last
election results.
November, we had a bunch of people, so I guess it just depends on who's looking for something to do or how many relatives they have from out of town and are trying to get themselves educated or something to do. So in any case, it's always an unknown about how many people will sign up. But we had a good attendance.
So it's just like, we went to lunch, what kind of walking tours are there? Somebody goes onto Google and says, what is there to do in Mountain View on a Sunday? It shows up and.
Because it's on Eventbrite.
Okay.
Awesome. There's a walking tour in San Mateo also by the Historical Society, and I went on that one, and that one's very hard to find. So
Yeah.
good job, Mountain View.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Okay,
Any other comments? Any other?
Well, I'll say
Questions?
one more thing for the Mountain View Historical Association. So our next meeting will be February 2, Groundhog Day. And that will be the history of patent holders and innovators of Mountain View. And although it doesn't necessarily pertain to downtown, we do have some patent holders from early Mountain View, and they lived in downtown. So I guess that's a connection to downtown, but it'll be a fun program and it'll probably be at the Adobe.
So you sent that out to us?
Yeah.
Thank you.
and the Chamber's open house, holiday open
Oh,
house
that's
will be on
Yeah.
December 11th. It's not gonna be the night of the tree
Yes.
because Peter won't be back from Europe.
Good choice.
And just
Tough life, that Peter Katz.
All right.
if they added, I mean, the neighborhood, I'm representing the neighborhood. We had a meeting, we had an election last night. Now it was elected again, I mean, to serve one more year as a community liaison, so. And for next year. And should we get any public comments here or any? No?
Yep, I don't believe we have anyone online.
Why?
We also
Yeah.
have the DBA meeting next Tuesday, if anybody wants to join at 10.
When is that?
It's at the Monte Carlo at 10 a.m.
You
Well,
sent that
glad
out?
you mentioned that because I had it on my calendar, CC 10 a.m. and then I couldn't figure out what it was. So can you repeat that again, please, Marina?
So the DBA meeting is going to be held at 10 a.m. next Tuesday, I think is the 10th, is that it?
Yeah.
10th,
That's right.
at the Monte Carlo, so
Does
just
it-
walk up the.
Does it end with lunch? No. just-
I can
meetings
ask
don't
my
go
dad
that
if he
long.
wants to cook.
Oh, he's a good
Usually
cook.
coffee though.
Great
Yeah,
cook.
they usually,
Can I make a comment
yeah.
about coffee? There used to be
brings
coffee at this meeting.
Yes.
John, will you back me up on this? There used to be coffee.
Long time ago.
Sometimes
And
bagels.
treats.
Bagels
So,
too.
When I
Marina,
was mayor, we had treats.
We, it doesn't affect me, but just,
so
future.
Marina, what will the content or what will be?
I believe
Pandemic changed
the PD will be addressing homelessness and some stuff happening in downtown.
Will you send it out to us, please?
Yeah.
Sorry,
well,
I'm not on the
I saw-
I'm not on the DBA, so.
Yeah, I'll try to.
Thank you.
It's a closed meeting. No.
So are members of the.
Joining as a public.
Would members of the downtown committee be invited or allowed to
No,
participate?
anybody can participate, so it's an open to public, so you can just walk in.
Thank you.
Okay,
So,
yeah, if you could send that to Amanda, have her send it out or official, have it be correct,
And send out the agenda. Once you get it from.
yeah.
So you should probably ask, the chamber,
Chamber.
since we actually manage the
That's fair.
DBA, but
I don't care.
Well, we have a member of the chamber on. I don't know if she'd like to speak, but Marcella's on. Let's see.
Oh, they haven't sent it out yet, so they just,
Okay.
but as soon as they send it out.
Yeah, Marcella. Marisol, sorry, not Marcella. Marisol, sorry. Do you want to speak to the upcoming meeting?
Yeah, hi. I was just saying that I was like, I swear I'm online. There are people online. I'm here.
you're somebody.
I didn't know she was
Not
here.
us all.
Yeah, so this month, the agenda so far is pretty light for the DBA. We're going to be discussing more the Great Elf Hunt, and last meeting was pretty, we had a really good discussion about some of the things that we want to bring into the new year. So possibly starting some smaller committees within the DBA to get more ideas, to get more people out to the downtown area. So most likely we'll also continue that conversation. But yeah, that's so far. I mean, it's going to be the end of the year. So there isn't too much on the agenda, but if there's anything that anybody wants to add to it or wants to, come out and speak to, I'm happy to add to it.
And Marisol, this year we don't have that Santa-thon plan, right?
So what we're doing is more of like, it's just this kickoff event. So it's not the Santa-thon or SantaCon. We're just gonna still encourage folks to come and dress up and for the first day, as they're looking for elves. I will say, Marina, since you're here, that it's been a huge drop in businesses that have signed up for the Great Elf Hunt. We only have 10 so far. So gonna look to the downtown businesses to really speak to their neighbors to see if they want to sign up, because the route is a little shorter this year. But yeah, I mean, still encourage people to come in. I mean, if you I know that Monte Carlo doesn't usually have enough, but you usually have, that nice little setup outside. So
We do, indeed.
we do that again.
I guess I could.
Thank you, Marisol.
thank you, Marisol. So just comment, but just to recap the year, I would like to say thank you very much for all the committee members and the community, who called in or came by to attend the meeting for the whole year, and the big thank you to staff for the great work they did throughout the year, thank you very much. And I also wanted to add, thank you to Marianne for her service for the City and Downtown Committee. It was great input, Yeah.
9 years is a long time.
9 years, long time, yes. So,
Yeah, right?
right.
I might come back if you guys revive that hotel project.
I think it's again up to the developer.
Exactly.
No.
I'm never leaving that alone for the rest of my
Right.
life.
So if there's no other comments?
My comment is thank you all. It's been a great experience. I would say I would enjoy every minute except Bruce England. And then, no, I enjoyed every minute, and it's been a really worthwhile cause. I think of all the things I do as an adult, this is one of the most meaningful. I don't think it's like as impactful as people think it is, but anyway, it's very meaningful to me and very purposeful to me. So, yeah, and I kindly request a photo of the group because I would like to post it to social media. And I think my post over the years hopefully has inspired others to get involved in local service. So I would like to continue that tradition even when I'm not on committee.
How about the group you used to have, dancing or singing group, you still have it?
I teach Zumba on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Because I can't stop, won't
Why
stop.
am I not surprised?
Oh, no. Can't stop,
Or
won't stop.
high energy, what
Can't
else?
stop, won't stop.
Yeah, and I've enjoyed seeing your posts when you put things for the downtown committee,
Yeah.
so she has been a big cheerleader for us.
That's great. So seeing none, nine, the meeting is adjourned at 9, 8, 9, yeah.
You want a
Thank you.
picture?
I want a picture.
Okay, where?